Professor Heino Falcke, thank you very much for being here, for taking the time to talk with us today in this beautiful observatorium. You are a professor in astroparticle physics and radioastronomy at the Radboud University, and you are, of course, very well known for your research into black holes. I'd like to start by asking you about the origin of the scientific field you're working in. So, what is the reason for your interest in space, and in particular black holes?
I think people, since the earliest ages were looking up into the skies and wondering what lies behind, and wasn't different with me when I was a kid. I was looking at the night sky and was wondering what's behind it. And I was also triggered by very fundamental questions. How big is the universe? What's behind? How big is heaven? What's behind heaven? If there's anything behind it, is it infinite? And so you're drawn into the depth of the universe, trying to figure out where does everything come from? What lies behind? And certainly when I did my studies, astronomy was exploding. It was just booming. So many new discoveries were made and still are being made. But I thought this is where fundamental questions are being asked and potentially answered. Mm-hmm. And black holes were certainly among the biggest mysteries.
Does this come to play a big part of your life, and how does it strengthen you in your daily life?
I think it actually came together at the same time. My curiosity drove me towards, asking scientific questions, but also religious questions, because you cannot answer every question with science alone. And it's for me a big, foundation upon which I rest. Actually, like if I look out into the universe, feels like I'm already at home. Sort of, it's my dad's creation, so to speak. And I don't think I would want to do the one without the other. I think they both also, both aspects correct each other in myself sometimes, because you think scientifically very stringent, very, that's how it should be. And when you think religiously, you're sometimes a bit more open in a way. You allow more things to happen, and you risk a few more things. You also risk more daring thoughts sometimes. At least I feel like that.
Some people may think that science and religion are difficult to combine. What is the truth for you? Or are science and religion maybe both truthful in their own ways? Or do they maybe complement each other?
Well, if you look back at history of our science, a lot of the scientists upon which our modern science is based were deeply religious people, not because they had to, because they were actually, that's how they were. So the idea that this could not be combined is a very modern idea. Mm-hmm. And at least in my biography, it is that I felt that asking the deep questions, you couldn't just ask only about physics. Sometimes you have to think broader. And turning it around, I would say, if you have a wide worldview, you cannot go without some form of faith. It can be an organized religion, or it's an unorganized type of faith, but I think everybody has some form of faith. Yeah. And all that needs to include, I think, reality. And science is also part of reality. And so there are two realities which actually need to interact with each other.
As a scientist studying the universe and incomprehensible phenomena like black holes, how do you see the presence of God in your work as a scientist?
I think it's mainly about how I treat people, how I lead my own life. I think, studying black holes or flowers or trees or mountains, whatever, it's just looking at what's out there, the creation. These are things. And through that, I also think I understand a little bit about the deeper truths behind them, which are natural laws, but also, I think, the presence of a creator out of which everything flows forth.
Through your research on black holes, you came to be part of the Event Horizon Telescope project. More than 300 scientists all around the world worked on this project. How and when did you get involved in the project, and what was your role in the process?
Yeah, very early on, around the 2000s, I was proposing that we actually should be able to build a global telescope operating at the highest radio frequencies to be able to see the shadow of a black hole. So I've seen it actually grow from a little idea to a big collaboration. And from our university at the Radboud University, we're one of the co-founders of the Event Horizon Telescopes. I was the chair of the Science Council, where the scientific matters were discussed. Been part of the board. I've been part of the science. I think I've been, part of almost every aspect of this project, also every scientific aspect, and that was a very, very fascinating experience to see all these very different, perspectives of such a huge project.
The Event Horizon Telescope produced the first image of a black hole in 2019. It was worldwide news and millions of people saw this image. Why do you think it's important to have an image of a black hole?
Even billions of people saw it in the end.
I'm sorry.
and just the sheer fact that people are so curious, they want to know, they want to see it, is already, I think, enough argument to say, to show that this captures the imagination of people. And that's who we are. We are curious. We want to know. We want to see. And we want to turn dreams and visions into reality that we can actually, see with our own eyes. So that's one aspect. The other one, of course, is scientific, because black holes form the ultimate frontier of our knowledge. And we can study them in unprecedented detail now. They're no longer fiction. They're part of normal scientific studies. And that's a fundamental change from how we looked at them just 10 years ago.
We now have the first image of the black hole, but many questions still remain. What is next in black hole research, in your opinion? What are the important aspects of black holes we still know nothing or very little about?
Black holes are the most efficient power generators in the entire universe. How are they able to generate this enormous amount of power? They accelerate plasma beams out to almost the speed of light, which become, reach sizes of millions of light years, have more power than an entire galaxy, all the stars in the galaxy. And we now, for the very first time, can see where all this energy is generated. So that's one of the things that we try to understand, the dynamic, energetic processes near black holes. But of course, black holes also pose fundamental physics questions. How do they go together with quantum physics, for example? And that's still a major challenge in theoretical physics. Whether we'll be able to make experiments that help us, we don't know yet, but we should at least try.
On the image produced by the Event Horizon Telescope, the ring around the black hole appears red or orange. You explained that this was a deliberate choice by the team. So why did the team choose this color, and what does it look like in reality?
Well, in reality, you would need to have radio eye.
Yeah.
So we cannot see that color. But radio light actually is part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So it's not fundamentally different from the light that you see with your eyes. It's just a much, much redder color than the reddest color you can see. But it probably also goes back to the prediction that we made in 2000 when we predicted how such a shadow should look like. We had the first possibilities to make color prints in scientific journals. And so we thought we have to give it a color. What color do you choose? And that was more an artistic choice.
Yes.
What color is a black hole? It's not a rainbow color. It's not a happy place. It's red. It's a glowing. It's a fire ring,
Yes.
A ring of fire. And that was the idea. So that's a little bit of art in the science that you find sometimes.
One of the biggest mysteries about the black hole is what lies on the other side, since when something has passed the event horizon, it cannot get out. It seems that we will never be able to look at the other side, but do you think it's still useful to speculate about what could be on the other side?
Actually, we can calculate the inside. Mathematics tells us what should be happening. We just cannot measure it. So we can picture it. We could even, in principle, fall into a black hole and experience what's going on there. We just couldn't tell anyone. So yes, it does make sense. It's just, it may remain speculation.
We thought it would be interesting to give you some statements, so you can answer them with yes or no, and then you can also give a short explanation if you like. So now the first statement. If I could only research one topic for the rest of my life, it would be black holes.
I would love to say yes and no. If I have to choose one, I would say yes, because that's the thing I learned the most, and that's a safe one. But I usually like to see also, beyond the current research and start new things. So I'd love to change different topics as well. So perhaps even if I would be allowed to only do research in one field, I would actually skip research at all, because that's not research, if I have only allowed to do one thing.
The theory of general relativity has brought me more than quantum mechanics.
No, because you cannot see one without the other. The big mysteries of those theories appear when you try to combine them.
I'd love to be an astronaut to see space from up close.
Absolutely, I'd love to be an astronaut. Yes, unfortunately I was never good enough to be an astronaut. So I envy all those colleagues who actually were able to go up there.
In the future, we will be able to see what lies behind the event horizon.
I fear not. We probably will never find out what's going on behind. Until we go to heaven, perhaps. I don't know.
And then the last statement, I visited the exposition Into the Black Hole in the Falkhof Museum.
Yes, I did, and it was really amazing. And I only had, an hour and a half time. It was actually not enough. I would have loved to sit there and just, watch some of these, because it triggers not just your artistic nerves, it also the physicist in you likes to play a little bit, understand what's going on there. So I think it's really an ideal combination.
Yeah. Do you also think it's important for society to combine art and science?
Well, absolutely, because people think and feel differently. Some people are more artists and others are more scientists, and that's where you can combine and bring people together. And also it inspires people. I mean, I think it makes you think about, even science in a different way.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for your answers. We definitely learned a lot today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.